Hey, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're gonna do a mini silicone baby. This is my tiny 3-inch baby, and I'm just gonna walk you through the steps on how I make my baby. So I'm gonna start with my mold, and I'm gonna use this mold release, which is going to help the baby come out, and it's not going to get stuck inside of the mold. This is a very important step, but you can't put too much because if not, it's not going to work. So you just need the right amount of this Dragon Skin 10. This is what I use to glue it back together semi-permanently or temporarily. Just enough so that it holds the silicone together and the baby can come out. I'm going to mix together my skin tone and my silicone. This is my inspiration. I have my Barbie that I'm going to try to match as close as I can. I'm going to use blue, red, and yellow, and I'm going to mix these colors together until I get a color that's going to match her skin tone. Now I add a little bit of this, a little bit of that at a time, and kind of modify it and adjust it to how I think it's going to work. I don't have a method on how I did it, but there are a lot of videos that I watched on how to mix color together. I think I would have done this a little bit better if I had used a solid surface and not aluminum foil. Because I didn't want to rip it, so it was kind of hard to blend. So that's what I'm going to do next time, is just do it on a different surface. But I'm going to mix these colors together and just try to get it a match as close as possible. What I do is I mix together the colors until it's going to be a concentrated color. Now, I don't want a lot of this because a little goes a long way with these pigments. So I just want a little bit of a dark brown, rich brown color. That's not going to be too red. It's going to be a little bit more yellow. And my goal when I'm coloring or mixing my skin tones, and I'm still learning, but I try to start off with a lighter color and then make it a little bit darker as I go. That way I have variation. I get it done pretty quickly, and it has the same undertone, so it's cohesive. So I really like doing it that way. So I'm just starting off with a mix of colors that's going to be very concentrated, and then I'm going to put that into the silicone with flocking powder as well. So that is the kind of the secret ingredient, the special ingredient to making these flesh tones most realistic as possible. Now I'm also going to paint the babies, but this is just going to be a pretty basic how-to on how I make these little mini silicone babies. So it's not going to be too much into detail after I make them. So once the painting and decorating them, as you can say, is going to be in another video. So I kind of keep adding more colors as I go. I tried to look at the doll and compare it, and obviously here it's way too red, so then I need to add more yellow. So it's helpful to look at videos on color theory and mixing colors together as far as painting. But I'm working with what I have. These are the Silk Pig pigments, and I'm painting on silicone. So it's a little bit different than the videos I've seen. However, there is a silicone pigment company that I think they just launched like 7 different skin tones. So I'm really excited. I really want to try those out and see how they vary. So hopefully I can make some more nicer, fleshy kind of colors and not rely on the actual painting of the babies as much, which I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm good. So I'm going to just continue to mix this until I'm happy with the color. Now I'm going to use the EcoFlex 20, and I kind of eyeball how much of this acrylic I'm going to need, and my goal is to make 3 babies. So once I make 3, I can pretty much make more if I need to, but half of these little cups makes 3 babies. I did have to waste some silicone to figure out how much I needed, but it's okay. I'm still learning. So this is the flesh or the flocking that I was talking about. I have flesh, tan, and yellow, and I'm going to mix this together and kind of create my own kind of base, and then I'm going to add in the pigment that I created. So I'm just going to mix it all together. You'll see me adjust it a little bit, and then I'll make it lighter. And it's really going to be how you would like it to be. But this is the skin tone that I was going for. And at the end, you'll see how I ended up just adding more of this base pigment, I can call it. I just end up adding more. So I make 1 lighter baby, and then the other 2 I make a little bit more dark because I added more of the pigment. So it's going to be more of a richer, darker color. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the flocking powder and kind of estimate. It's going to get mixed together, and I feel like as long as the colors are pretty even and you mix it pretty well, then it doesn't have to be 100% exact, but I still try to get an even color. Now, this could only be done with pigments, I would say. But the flocking powder, I'm just thinking how it would be without the flocking. I feel like it would still work, but it just gives it a little bit more of a real color when you use the flesh and the tan pigment, or the flocking powder. The pigment is going to help fill in the gaps and not make it look translucent. So you really need both of these to color the silicone. But I'm just trying it out. This is the first time that I've made a darker skin tone that I really liked, and it's not too red. So I'm going to continue doing this method for my next skin tones as well and go from there. So I'm going to just keep learning how to make different skin tones, and right now I have 5 different skin tones, a little bit lighter, more tan, and a darker skin tone. So it's going to give a little bit more variety as well. Now I'm going to combine the part A and B, and it's time for the vacuum degasser. This is going to take the bubbles out of the silicone. That way it's a nice and smooth piece and there are no air bubbles. So you'll see it take all of the air out of the chamber, and it causes it to rise. And that's all of the air that's coming out of the silicone, which is really cool. It's really fun to watch. This is the best part. I love pouring the silicone. It means that I am almost done. So this is the last step. So I just pour it in and try to make it be as even as possible in all of the areas. And once I squeeze the arms and the legs, I pour in the rest. And we're gonna wait. It depends on the silicone. This one is ready in a few hours. So I'm going to open it and I'll show you the 3 babies that I made in this batch. Alright, and these are the final 3 babies. They are ready to be painted. I am so happy with how they came out. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.